Hello, and welcome to another Freevoice training video. Today we'll be discussing user setup and management. Where can we set up users? What is needed to set up users? How can we track users? Let's discuss this. To configure our users, let's go to PBX Setup. Then, let's go to Extensions. On the left-hand side, you will see the available menus. On the right-hand side, you will see the available items for the selected menu. To create a new extension, let's leave the device type as SIP device and click Submit. To create an extension, you will need to assign an extension number in the user extension field, a logical identifier in the display name field, and enable voicemail by changing the status in the drop-down to enabled. Then, make 1234 the voicemail password. If you're going to be using a soft phone, the highlighted secret is going to be the password to register your soft phone. If your organization wishes to take advantage of the user portal, which is provided at no additional cost, you should check the boxes here in the extension to give your users the necessary privileges. Those are the basic requirements to create an extension. To save, click Submit, then Apply, and then Continue. Now let's create some agents. For the agent number, you'll want to put in a number that matches the extension that is registered to the user on the soft phone. Agent name, you'll want to have a logical identifier which identifies the user. You can put in an agent password, but it is not required. For agent group, let's leave that as default. Here you can choose the options for the agent that you want it to have. All of them could be checked, or none of them could be checked except for allow access. It depends on what privileges you want your agents to have. And again, we go through the 3-step saving process. And now you can see on the right hand side, our new agent is available. Now let's create a queue. To create a queue, you'll want to add the queue number and queue name, just like other elements on the system. Again, the password is optional, and here we can put a prefix. I always like to have a dash at the end of my prefix. It makes it look really clean. And then you can set the options for the queue for how long you want your customers to wait, or how your agents receive the calls. Here there's the assigned and unassigned members. You can decide who gets put into the queue. It can be either dynamic agents that have the A in front of them, or as you can see there, the extensions that don't have the A in front of them. Which just means it's just a soft phone or just a phone, it's just an extension. And then there's the other options here on the queue. You can set caller join announcements for messages that the people hear when they come into the queue, or agent announcements for agents that get into the queue. You can set announcement recordings and times. You can set dynamic rule penalties for how the calls are distributed. Here we want to select a failover destination, which is the extension or group that the call is going to be sent to after the timeout. Okay, let's head over to ring groups, which will be right here, PBX setup, and then go down the left hand side to ring group. And then similar to queues, you're going to have to assign a ring group number as well as a name. You can select your ring strategy, ring time, max time, prefix, and so on. And then just like in the queues, you can assign members to it, but in the ring groups you can only assign extensions. Agents are not available. And then of course select the destination if no answer, and then save it. And just like in the queues, you can mouse over the question marks and get more detail on what that field is for, or what it does. Okay, let's take a look at queue reports. Go to PBX and then queue reports. Here you will see at the real-time dashboard for the queues, you can see all of the available information about the queues, as far as who's logged in, how many calls are being taken, and so on. And then there's the Agents tab, where you can see the activity information for the agents. So if they're logged in, if they're idle, if they're on a call, how long they've been on a call, their average talk time, and so on. Through the Agents tab of the queue reports, you can also log in, log off, pause, and unpause your agents. And then there's the other tabs at the top of the queue reports that can show you different kinds of information, or information that's sorted differently. For example, the queue totals tab when searched will show you the queue totals, call status totals, calls per hour, queue hold times, queue talk times, service level totals, and calls by DID. And each of these tabs has ways of showing information more specifically or more inclusively depending on how you want to view your information. We can go to PBX, call detail reports, then use the tabs at the top and the filters below those tabs to select which records we want to view and which recordings we want to listen to. And if we go to the end, to the Archives tab, you'll see two tabs pop up in the Archive browser. First tab being Call Detail Records, the second tab being Audio Recordings. In the Call Detail Records, you can go through the file path of the year, month, and day, and download the recordings for that, or the records for that day. And then the same thing in Recordings, you can go through a path to download the recordings based on call. So this is an easy way to manage and store and back up and retrieve your records and recordings. Okay, and if we go to PBX, and then PBX Info, and then we click on the SIP Peers tab, we'll see a list of our users, what host they're connected to, which is the IP that they're connecting from. You can see the status and the health of their connection, as well as the latency count on their connection and what port they're connecting on. So this gives you a good general idea of which extensions are connected to, and if they're healthy.